we can just continue to add the tabs there. So you basically tap that there, tap the plus there, do it again, do that there, and then you're gonna have, you know, a list of different tabs that you have open. And when you're done with them, you could just basically swipe it to the right or to the left, and you basically get rid of them that way. So that's super awesome when it comes to ice cream sandwich. You can do the same thing with multitasking. Let's say I'm done with dog catcher, I can just swipe it. Messaging, I'm done. Settings, I'm done, and you can swipe them to the left or to the right. It doesn't really close them completely. If you want to do that, you can basically just tap and hold, and you're going to get that little pop-up there. It's going to say remove from list or app info. If you tap app information there, you can basically just force stop it, and you're good to go. So it's a very nice implementation there. You also have a customizable dock. So you know, in Android you are able to download third-party launchers, and you would, you know, be able to you know, play with your dock. Now it's actually in the source code there, so you can basically just add anything that you want down there. So if I want my camera on the dock, you can do so. If I want Gmail there, and wherever you swipe, that dock is going to be static, and you're going to have your apps there. You can also add folders, which is what I had here. So I had my folder there, people back there. So when I want to make a phone call, I could just tap there. If I want my contacts, is there. And then if, you know, I'm constantly calling my girlfriend, I'm calling my brothers, you know, my mom, you could just tap that there, and you'll have your folder there. So that's very useful. And talking about folders, again, Android has had folders in the past, but now it got a little more a little simpler there. You can just tap and drag in that little circle there, and you drop them, and then you have a nice little folder there. You can also rename the folder, and that's something that I've been very pleased. I've been very pleased with the folders in Ice Cream Sandwich. There's an amount of polish that Matias Duarte actually added to Ice Cream Sandwich that, again, is just making it a little, you know, more user-friendly and just overall polished, and it just looks great. So customizable docks is great. Folders, another thing that's great. You also have resizable widgets. So now the app drawer also got a makeover, so everything is a little 3D. You can see that there. So when swiping there, you're going to be able to see some 3D effects. It doesn't really, you know, take up you know, system resources. It's pretty good. I have noticed it lag from time to time, and that's if, you know, if I'm playing a game or whatever. But if you see that up here, you can actually go into widgets, and you're going to have all of your widgets that are available from the apps you've downloaded and stock apps that you have. So they're also resizable. Some of them are going to be resizable. So let's say the bookmarks widget, you can resize it. You can resize email widgets. You can resize a bunch of different widgets, and that's great. That's a very welcome change. Now, again, you don't have to depend on a third-party launcher to be able to do that. You can scroll from within the app, so that's great. You can also take screenshots now. It's supported natively. So you basically just tap and hold down on the volume rocker and the power button at the same time, and you're going to get that nice animation, and there's a screenshot there. So that's great. You know, especially if you're you know, you're trying to show something to someone, you're able to do that. The finger tracking is pretty decent. It's gotten a lot more responsive, and this is pretty much where I think some things took the turn for the worse for me. Finger tracking is good. Everything seems pretty good, but I'm a picky person, and coming from an Epic 4G Touch, I've noticed that the processor just isn't as responsive as I would hope it, you know, it would be. And this is basically just my opinion. Now, again, Ice Cream Sandwich 4.0 is great. I'm not bashing, you know, Ice Cream Sandwich, and I'm not necessarily bashing the phone, but you know, in my opinion, I think that Google and Samsung actually chose the wrong processor for this phone. I think the TI OMAP dual-core processor isn't the best for performance. I've noticed that finger tracking is pretty decent, but as far as, you know, how responsive the phone can be, I think the multitasking feature is great, but it's not performing, you know, the way it should be. And I think if they would have gone with an Exynos processor, a Samsung build Exynos processor, this phone would be a complete screamer. And I know some people have said that the phone feels really, really fast and there's no lag, but I've noticed that, you know, the phone tends to lag from time to time, and I think that's in part due to that dual-core Ti-OMED processor. And for me, you know, it all depends on what, you know, you use your phone for. I depend on a phone that's just going to be on top of its game, just completely snappy. And I feel that this phone is great, but I think what's the selling point on this phone is the fact that it has Ice Cream Sandwich 4.0. It's not really the performance of the phone. It's not really the cameras, because the 5-megapixel sensor camera doesn't really do the software justice. The software is really great. Panoramic pictures are great, but the actual sensor is pretty bad. And that's when taking picture stills. When recording 720p and 1080p, it's pretty good. The microphone works really well. But I think the deal breaker for me is the fact that the phone isn't as snappy as I thought it would be. And that may be just because I'm using my phone a certain way. That may not apply to you. I would want you to go to the Verizon store and pick it up and try it out for 14 days. But for me, sadly, it's not, you know, what I'm looking for from a phone. Ice Cream Sandwich is definitely what I'm looking for software-wise, but as far as a whole product, because when you go to Verizon, you're buying the phone itself, it just didn't do it for me. So, you know, that's just my opinion. You can have a different opinion, and that's fine. Go to the Verizon store and try it out. I think it's a great phone. I would give it a very solid 8. Unfortunately, it's not the best phone for me, but it's a very, very solid phone, and you know, I was really pleased to try it. So if you have any questions, any comments, anything that maybe you disagree with, just be sure to leave it in the comment section below. Again, Ice Cream Sandwich, Galaxy Nexus is awesome. Hopefully the one that comes to Sprint with the updated processor, it's going to have a 1.5 dual-core, 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Ti-OMED processor. Can change my mind, but until then, I'm going to go back to my Epic 4G Touch and be using that for a while, and then once Sprint gets the updated one, I might give it a second shot. So thanks for watching. Again, leave comments down below if you agree or disagree, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Cheers.